everyone? It's your host, Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today, this is going to be a fun conversation, an epic conversation. I'm looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this all week, y'all. Today, we have Mr. Dwayne McClure, founder of Valryis. His company is helping change the paradigm for a lot of us, for entrepreneurs, futurists, politics, technology, and he's a disruptor, which is a topic I thoroughly enjoy. I enjoy conversing with pioneers, thought leaders, and thought provokers and innovators of the foreseeable future. And there are moments in history when a single idea cuts across politics, technology, and power all in the same space so clearly that it resets the rules and changes the entire game. And I think we are on the cusp of and needing of change. And I'm not talking NVIDIA, I'm not talking about microchips, I'm not talking about Bitcoin, but this is something unique. And Mr. McClure and his company Valryis didn't come from Silicon Valley or boardrooms or any of those things, but he is here shifting and he's crossing boundaries here on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage. So we're going to get a little bit behind the scenes with Mr. McClure and his company. So help me welcome. I can't hold this titan of industry back any further. Help me welcome to the stage the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Here we have Mr. Dwayne McClure.
Well, thank you for the introduction, Marcus. I hope that I live up to all of it. I never thought of myself as a pioneer until I started talking with people like you. And they're like, oh, this is great. Thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes. And because, again, sometimes I can imagine Meta, right? If you think of Facebook, if you think of Amazon, all these things had their underground meeting. And I consider this conversation an underground meeting as you continue to grow and take off. And I think, and I hope, and I pray that when people discover you, they're going to keep you in their back pocket. You and I had the pleasure of having that conversation backstage, but we are here also to spread the word about Valryis and what your company is doing and why it touches so many spaces, so many industries at the same time. That's a rare occurrence, but a necessary occurrence, I think. And so thank you again for saying yes and being on the show today. I want to talk and start off and lay some foundation. And if you could help our audience, that's bugging everyone's mind. What does Valryis do? And why did you start Valryis and initiate Valryis and found Valryis, and who's it for?
Yeah, absolutely. So what it does is, I tell people all the time that I talk to about it, is that we essentially took the best components of Angie's List, LinkedIn, and Tinder and created a smart matching algorithm and system that matches you to folks who are in your same philosophical tent, your same experience tent within your budget. Because what we encounter, and what I encountered a lot coming from a background of consulting, is that you encounter people who they might have really good ideas, they might have really good plans, but they come up to you and say, hey, I have a budget of $500 a month. And some folks who have higher levels of experience, they will just walk away and then the idea just dies on the vine. But there's someone out there with the experience who aligns with you, who may never find you otherwise through word of mouth, who could now find you and work with you and build out that idea in a way much like how Tinder and Hinge help people find their partners that they can build a life with. We help you find people that you can build movements with and grow with. So that's something that's really exciting. And it just got put on my heart after watching so many good people with good ideas get shelved because they either didn't have the connections or they didn't have the level of resources that the extremely experienced folks wanted to charge them.
So I love this. I love where we're heading. This sounds like a my go-to in my back pocket. This sounds like a plug-in connection. I love how you said Tinder. A plug-in connection. So I guess I need some examples to lay the framework. If I'm a nonprofit organization, can you give some examples of how Valyris can help me make the connections to grow my nonprofit?
Mhm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, so I can. So a great example is a nonprofit. Say you run a foundation for education for children, and you want to expand your footprint somewhere, but you don't know anybody in that area. What you could do with Valyris is you could get on there, fill out a profile, fill out what your goals are, what your objectives are, and anybody who has experience doing that and scaling, you would be able to find them because you'd be able to see how you match with them. Any businesses that may share your same passions, your same goals, will know that you're in the area because you'll be a match. Well, it gets interesting because the same thing is true for donors. So now this idea that you had to say, take your nonprofit from Salem and you want to start one in Nashville, instead of starting completely from scratch, you now have the capacity to build out a network of aligned people who share your thoughts, share your philosophies, and share connections. Everything from folks who might be, say, commercial realtors who can help you find a location for your office, to the individuals who can make the sign for your nonprofit at that new space. And you'll know exactly how they feel about your project, how you feel about them. Like, it's taking business, which for the longest time has been depersonalized, and it's making it personal. It's making a personal short. The realtor, like, they all know people and they're all going to bring their own sphere. So that's why I say it's like building your own movement. If you are a nonprofit, then you have that added benefit of donors can now look at you and see how much you align with their goals and what they do with their money and where they want to put their money. And they would have other before we came along. So that's why I think that this is such a game changer, such a groundbreaking thing. And it's quite frankly a little surprising that no one's doing it. So for a nonprofit, say you have a nonprofit that is dedicated to helping children with education and special needs in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and you want to expand to somewhere like Nashville, Tennessee. So traditionally, what you'd have to do is you'd have to go manually or through friends of a friend, find somebody who knows somebody who can help you build out a network in Nashville and a support system in Nashville uh, to get it all built together. What we would do for a nonprofit is that now you have your profile out there for the whole wide world. And say a commercial real estate agent who specializes in finding properties sees you and says, "Oh my goodness, here's a cause that I align with. Here's a cause that my values align with their values, and I'm an 87% match with them. So I know that if I work with them, that I am going to be feeling comfortable in the relationship that I build with them and the network that I build for them." Uh, Same thing with a donor. So a donor from anywhere in the world can see what you're doing and say, "Oh my gosh, Marcus is doing great work in Winston-Salem. He wants to expand to Nashville. Like, I might not have connections in Nashville, but I care about the special needs community. I care about education, and Marcus and I are 92% match. So I'm going to give $1,000. Now, traditionally, that donor and you would have never met. You would have had to go and do a marketing campaign to catch somebody like this donor who you may never catch, or more realistically, and what happens more often is that you'd have to go find somebody who specializes in attracting donors, spending tens of thousands of dollars to go find this one guy who's going to donate $1,000, and then that guy that they find might not even agree with your mission long term. They might not agree with your values long term. So it might just end up being a single gift. Well, what we're able to do is that now, if I'm a donor, I can look at Marcus's nonprofit. I can look at what Marcus believes and what he holds true to and say, oh my gosh, I align with that. I need to be a more regular contributor to Marcus's mission. It allows the donor more agency than they currently have, because basically, as someone who solicited donors for a long time, basically you get a bunch of emails from professionals who are like, hey, look at the great work that we're doing. Would you mind giving us money?
Right. So that's powerful.
And sometimes they give you money, but most of the time, the vast majority of folks. Oh, sorry.
No, that's good. That's really good. So do I have to put out a solicitation for donors, or do I have to put out a solicitation, or my profile is built out and people can see it and just, hey, I align with this, and actually reach out to me? I don't actually have to solicit that I'm actually looking for donors. It's gonna just promote me and push me out there to the atmosphere, the Valyris atmosphere. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly how it works. It's very, very similar in that way to a dating profile, is that you're out there in the ether looking for your perfect match, be it a donor, be it a legal representation, what have you.
Absolutely. So to what degree or how detailed am I? Is this for individuals, or is this for businesses, entrepreneurs? Say, and how what if I don't know what I need? I'm starting out something brand new, and I don't know if I need a sales person, if I need real estate, if I need um donations. Does is what How granular do I have to build out my profile so that I can be found? And what if I don't know what I need?
So we just have 4 simple profile types. Um, we have the individual profile type, we have nonprofit, we have cause, and we have service provider, so a business. So
Okay.
we keep it simple in that way, that all you do is you select whichever one of the 4 you are. When it comes to not knowing what you need, uh, on the back end, there's actually, and I guess I kind of glossed over it earlier, but there's some components that are very like Duolingo-esque. We actually
Hmm.
have a training ladder to help train you on some skills and train you on how to get to where you want to be in one of these tracks, whether it's, you're saying that, a political candidate who wants to run for office. We actually have a training pathway to teach you, how do I build a campaign? What are the types of people that I should look for? How much should I budget for a type of race? Like, how will I know what number I need to hit in order to win? Because I know everyone knows that it's 50 plus 1, but there's a science behind it that a lot of people don't know. because the vast majority of people are locked out of the information, and they're locked out of information. It's done so by design, because I'll tell you, as somebody who spent the past 16 years advising campaigns in the United States, Paraguay, Denmark, even as far as Finland, like the people who control things, the gatekeepers in the gatekeeper economy, they love making things seem harder than they actually are. So we actually want to train people, not just in the political space, but in the vendor space. Like, hey, how do I gear my company to do something of this scale? How do I network? How do I leverage? Really, it's just building the ladder of trainings. So you could come in as a complete novice who just has an idea and a dream and no connections, and find people who share your values and find out how to achieve what you want to achieve together.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. I love this. This is good. This is good. This is absolutely necessary. This is why I asked you to be on the show, because this is something that is unheard of. I remember in banking, my time in banking, um, it would have young men. I had a young man come up to my desk and he wanted to start a business and he just didn't know anything. He had no clue whatsoever where to get started. Should I get an LLC? What do I need to do? How do I file it? What type of business? What am I going to name the business? All those things. So I love the Duolingo. I'm actually doing Duolingo right now to learn Spanish. So I love that you incorporate not only the educate the the ecosystem. You're creating a community of individuals who can be like minded, and I don't have to go searching for them. I don't have to spend a major budget on marketing and advertising to find maybe a grant writer, right? A grant writer for my nonprofit or my business. Um, at an affordable cost, or who believes in my mission. Are all the connections being made with individuals already on the platform, or is there a degree of, hey, you can also be found on Google, right? Your profile isn't just in the Valyris network; it's also out in the ether sphere and the internet as well.
So because of the algorithm and the matching component, it's going to be the folks who are within our ecosystem. That
Okay.
being said, we are doing a big push to get people aware, because we're launching this at the beginning of 2026, and we're trying to get people aware of, like, hey, this is coming. The future is near. Well, we also have, thanks to my prior career, we also have a bunch of individuals and data, um,
He
that
was a
we're
hand model, y'all. He was a hand model.
yeah, for about 2 million folks that we're going to, um, for free, just create a profile for them. Just go ahead and have it pre-registered. So I don't know how many people are going to take us up on it, but I mean, I haven't met many folks in my lifetime who have turned down free 50.
So let me get this straight. You're allowing 50 people to come into the platform for the first time. 50.
No, no, no. I was saying free 50 was a joke, because
Uh
it's free.
oh,
But
free dollars.
we're creating prefix profiles for folks. So all they have to do is come in, select their profile type, and fill out their profile assessment, and boom.
How many people are you allowing in?
Um, we are very ambitious. We're a little crazy, some might say. We really think that with the right push, that when we launch, we could have over 50,000 users in the first 30 days. That can get even more aggressive, considering how we leverage some of our connections and lists that we currently have. But we truly think that within a year from launch, that we could be looking at over 500,000 monthly users.
That's incredible. Incredible. So I hear in the pre-screening, individuals, nonprofits, business services, and what was that fourth one?
Causes.
Causes. And so, out of all of those, who's the ideal avatar for Valyris, right? Is it product based businesses? Is it massage therapists? Is it dentists who are looking to grow their network? Is it um who's the ideal avatar for Valyris, or who could really benefit? I want to say everybody, almost
Yeah.
darn near everybody, but is there an avatar that works really well with Valyris, or could really?
Yeah. Well, I have to like you, I have to rein that in sometimes because I'm like everybody can use it. But,
Right.
but initially, it was designed as a tool to help you find your network based off of your ideology and background and experience. So I would say that the ideal avatar is probably someone who is in a service sector, like a business owner who say you are a small, like I'll use my friend for example. I
Okay.
have a friend who was an attorney at a firm, really good attorney. He actually just had one of his briefings brought before the Supreme Court of the United States, and he took the gamble, he took the leap back in May of going out for himself and starting his own. That's scary. That's um,
Absolutely.
that's scary. It's ambitious. It's brave. But the thing that you run into is that from that point on, you're on your own. You have to make your network. You have to make your connections. So I would say that someone like him, who is an entrepreneur, who is looking to build out not only a book of business, but a book of, I don't want to use the term friends, but maybe high level acquaintances, people that you would
Mm,
actually enjoy spending time with. Uh, because we want to make these things more personal. Because one of the biggest pet peeves that I always had is when people say, oh, business isn't personal or politics isn't personal. And I'm like, those are two of the most personal things that you do on a daily basis. They affect how you live, they affect where you live, they affect everything about your life. And yet we interact with so many people that we don't know anything about them besides their name and the company that they work for. So I think that we can really see a massive impact for a lot of small business owners who will now be able to create those relationships by already starting off in the same space as their clients.
absolutely. I love that. Staying in the same lane. Speaking of pet peeve, what personal? I feel you're very rebellious. What personal thing happened to you that made you say, "I need to do something about this and start Valyris"? What happened in your life experience that caused you to say, I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change this because it doesn't look good. It's not being handled well." You're very diverse, sir. Your resume is extensive. So what happened? I need. Can you give us some sauce?
Well, to understand that I grew up in a family where I was told from a very young age that I had a voice, I mattered. I had to, speak up if I wanted to make a difference. And when I was in college, I went to the University of Tennessee, and my boss at the time, I was interning for a senator, and his chief of staff told me, he said, "You're a great kid. You're really smart." He said, "But you don't have what it takes to be successful in this field." And I
Mm,
asked him what he meant. And he said, "You're really smart. You're capable." He said, "But you don't have the connections. You don't have the network." He's like, "You can have all the talent in the world." He said, "But it's all about the hands that you shake." And I took that to heart, very much like that old Michael Jordan adage from the Last Dance. Is that I took that personally.
mm,
So I started the very next day. I went and registered an LLC and started my own consulting business. I left that office the next day and started a consulting business. And I said, what? I don't have those connections, but I'm going to go make them. So I've brute forced my way into connections with congressmen and senators and governors throughout the United States. And it's funny, I came back to that same boss about 4 years later, and he was running for mayor of Knox County. And I said, hey, I hear you need somebody to run your campaign. And he was like, I've been wanting to call you, but, and I'll give it to him. He was very gracious. He was very gracious about the fact that he had underestimated me. And he said, I was ashamed to call you. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, I'm from South Carolina, and I grew up in the middle of nowhere, South Carolina. So if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it. So it's that rebellion, as you said, that's in me that led to there's more people like me who didn't have the background, who weren't born with the silver spoon, but who have grit, who have determination, who want to be successful, but they either don't know where to start or they don't know who to start with.
Take that. take that. He had to swallow all that pride. But good on him, though. Like you said, good on him, right? Most men would have been like, oh, I've been so busy. Like, no, you saw the changes that was coming, and you saw his face, and you were like, oh man, I gotta eat that cake, and I gotta love it. He had to get rid of the ego. I love it. Yeah. Great job, Mr. McClure. Another round of applause for Mr. McClure. That's good. I'm glad you did that. It's funny you saw him out and you were like, hey, remember me?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that I'll admit I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, because
as you should.
I have a chip on my shoulder. I have something to prove, because I don't have a family name. I don't have family money. Like, and I have this mentality with everything that I do in business, is that I'm just some guy from South Carolina. Like, that's it. And it's funny, I go to these places, and it was an adjustment to get, in my mind, unearned respect, because I'm standing in the room with somebody who is deemed more important than everybody else in the room. And they're like, oh, Mr. McClure. I'm like, I'm Dwayne. like I'm Dwayne. Like, I used to go to Nichols when I was 18 years old on the corner across from the high school and get taters. Like, I'm not special.
No, but you definitely have a name for our audio listeners. So again, his name is Dwayne McClure. This sounds like a name that should be on a yacht somewhere. So it's gonna happen. Like, that's a last name. That's a strong last name. So although it doesn't attach to anything, you, my friend, are pioneering something strong. And I can see it. The Wolf of Wall Street with this whole thing, like Mr. McClure. Like, that's a yacht name. That's a yacht name that some butler somewhere is going to hold in high prestige. So really, really good. I really enjoy this topic here. Who's you mentioned it earlier that you've had, because of that professor, because of that individual, saying like, listen, you got potential, but you don't have the connection, and then you go out and create the connections, not only for yourself, because you could have just did it for yourself. You could have just stopped right there and then prove to that same professor that, hey, I did it for myself. I got the connections. But you said, I want to serve others. I want to give back to others. And you provided a resource and this tool, Valryis, to help others. And so that's powerful. But who is the most interesting person you've worked with out of those connections that you've made? Can you share any tea there?
I would say the most interesting person that I've worked with is a gentleman named Christian Rabeck, who is out of Denmark, and he is as unique as they come. Like, the joke that we used to tell is that he was the Prince of Denmark, because he's 6'3", he's dashing, very, very smart, but he's weird. He's so weird. He's so weird. And I love him. We still talk to this day, even though he's back in Denmark. But I came by his office one day, and he just has binoculars out, and he's looking. At this point, I'm working in Arlington, so he's actually looking across the river into Washington D.C. with his binoculars. And I say, Christian, what are you doing? And he said, I'm bird watching. And I said, why are you bird watching over there? I was like, it looks kind of creepy, my guy. And he, straight face, takes the binoculars down, looks at me, and then in his Danish accent says, well, maybe I am a little creepy. And then puts them back up. And then puts them back up. And then I'm like, okay, so
this is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing today. And then we had a great, lovely discussion about European politics for an hour and a half while he birdwatched.
Okay. So you did preface us with that, and you warned us. He's like, little unorthodox here, but hey, yeah. But he was good people.
He was by far the most interesting.
I can imagine the dialogue and the conversations that ensued.
So many. There's so many tales with that guy.
I love it. In this meta TikTok now supposed to be converting to TikTok USA because they are going to be bought out by America. Algorithm. I want to talk about algorithm here. How does Valyris protect users from algorithmic manipulation, right? And you see the content creator always says it. I'm a content creator myself. It's like the algorithm, you'll be trending, you'll be picking up traction, and then it just stops. You just all stop. And so now where I was getting a lot of endorsements, I was getting a lot of donations, the algorithm picked that up and said, oh no, we're gonna shift, we're gonna change the metrics here on you. So now you don't get as much push and much marketing or promotion within the ecosphere. Anything like that, or algorithmic manipulation in the sense of you're holding someone back or you're holding a profile back. Anything there?
No, I want to say that from an algorithmic standpoint, my personal belief is you eat what you kill. So if you go out there and people love you and love your content, why should I stop you? What business is it of mine to hamper you, to hamstring you? Like, other people should look at you as an example of like, hey, Marcus is making some really good stuff. He's lighting it up out there. I should go to Marcus's level. We shouldn't be bringing people down to a level with everyone else. If there's people who excel, we need those people to be the outlier until everybody's at the outlier. So I say my personal standpoint is that I don't manipulate anything. We're not going to manipulate anything. It's going to be a true ecosystem and a true economy. If people love what you have to say, you'll spread like wildfire. If people maybe are a little apprehensive, you'll know. But I'm not comfortable with putting my finger on the scale, especially when this whole entire thing is designed for folks to have the opportunity to be whatever they need and want to be. Who am I to potentially negate all that effort? Because who am I to stop, say, somebody who's getting content that's really on fire right now and douse it, because they might never get this opportunity again. And here I am. I just put a bucket of water on it. I can't do that.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing with being drowned out, right? Someone who takes off and is doing well, why should I be minimized? Or why does my cause, which is one of the precursors, one of the profiles, is a cause? If I have a cause, why does American Red Cross get more algorithm benefits than I do? That's not fair. I think my cause is justified. I think what I'm trying to do is a reasonable. Maybe I'm trying to save the whales. Maybe I'm trying to save. I remember that we had the pleasure on the show of interviewing a lady who she houses women who are victims of domestic violence. But what she specializes in is housing women who experience domestic violence who have pets, because most hotels don't accept pets and most shelters do not take pets. And so 9 times out of 10, what ends up happening in domestic violence relationships is the person stays in that experience longer because they don't want to leave their dog or their cat or their goldfish behind. And so That's a cause, right? But that's specialized enough to say, again, American Red Cross shouldn't trump that, shouldn't be able to beat me out as far as algorithm. And so that's what prompted the question. So nothing like that on the platform.
No.
Love it. Love it. Love it. What about money, right? The billionaire, there is an opportunity for politicians and diplomats and people of high profile status to be on the platform as well. How do you ensure Valryis doesn't become a playground for elite rebellion and elite billionaires? And now they're, I could say, let's insert major celebrity. Chris Rock comes on a platform, or Will Smith, or Jada Pinkett Smith, and now they're dominating with, just like Facebook. I'm getting drowned out because they have more money than me, right? How do you ensure Valryis doesn't become a playground for the elite?
Well, twofold. One, we want rebellion. We're actively supporting rebelling against the current systems, rebelling against the way that things are done. Secondly, the way that we counteract that is the stuff that you would see, Marcus, is going to be more focused on what drives you, what you're passionate about, what interests you have based off of the connections that you've made and the connections that those connections have made. So it's a lot more personal in that way. And I like to steal the phrase from Shirley Chisholm. For all the young people there, she was a congresswoman back in the 70s. Her motto was unbought and unbossed. And I think that that's where we have to go with this, is that my objective with this is that I don't intend to ever sell this company. I don't ever intend to IPO this. I intend to ensure that if there's anywhere that's open for rebellion, it's rebellion by the Vox Populi. That it's a place where we, the normal people, can truly get together, express how we feel. And my hope is that looking at it actually gives a way more accurate gauge to those elites, to the politicians, of where the temperature is, where the climate is, and that instead of us being played by them, they have to play to us. Because if they're making these profiles, they also have to fill out these assessments. They have to tell us where they stand. They can't equivocate to their audience. They have to say, here's what I believe. That is possibly the biggest lock-in that we have with the elites, is that it would force them to have principles, and it would force them to be public with those principles in a way that they haven't before. Because now a politician can tell you anything that they want to tell you. And there's, maybe if you're a nerd like me, you go back and look at their voting record, but most people don't. So they are what they say they are. But here, they would have to commit to what they believe.
Absolutely. How much I love that you said that. Thank you you definitely rested my heart. Like, you made me feel a lot better, because there's a few other companies that are out there trying to compete with Meta, right? Meta, Google, Alphabet, all the big dogs. And so when I find unique entrepreneurs like you who are entering a similar space, like you said, LinkedIn, Tinder, and like Facebook all in one, and it's making those connections for you. But again, the algorithm tends to hold you back unless you pay a fee, a fee to boost your ad, or to get your ad in front of all these eyeballs. Like, no, we're not going to hold you back. We want you to win. We want you to succeed, and we want you to make those relationships and those connections, because in turn, those connections are going to make you better and make you grow. And it's not politically charged. It's not who has the biggest, who can write the biggest check, right? And that gives the average person a chance. And again, you're connecting with people in my ecosphere that are specifically looking for what I do. And if you niche down enough, you again, just like Valryis is very niche. There's no one else doing this.
No,
No
well,
one else can. No one
they're
else doing
looking
what you're
for
doing.
you. They're looking for you. They just don't know you exist.
Exactly. Exactly. And it doesn't, and again, you don't have to, there's not a huge heavy lift, especially because there are gonna be elements that you just don't know. So
Mhm.
absolutely. I love this. How integrated is artificial intelligence integrated into Valyris? Is it all AI? Is there some staff and personnel or customer service I can reach out to and get support with?
Yes. So there's a dev team. There's customer service, and right now, customer service is actually you're looking at them.
Okay.
So you're looking at customer service. Myself and a couple of the guys on my team are basically moonlighting as customer service until we get a little bit bigger, because this is 100% the way that I wanted it, which is bootstrapped. Um, Going back to unbought and unbossed, I didn't want to take money from folks who could tell me what to do, who could tell me how to water down this product, could tell me how to um, make sure that it became that playground for the elites. So I decided to just do it myself, like I've done time and time again. So we are customer service right now. As we expand, as we grow, we're going to bring on a customer service team of live people. And AI is integrated largely into the algorithm and into the chat features.
I love it. I love it. I love the balance, the harmony of the whole thing. So it's not just AI. There are, and you remind me of myself. We you want to do it right, and so the founder himself, y'all, is putting foots on that. You remind me of the CEO of Lyft, which was unique when I heard it, because the CEO of Lyft, and you think of Lyft as a big organization. He drives Lyft himself,
Mm-hmm.
and so he wants to ensure, what better way to get feedback than being right there in front of it.
Well, that was one of my rules when I was in consulting. What I loved to do is I would love to always be the man behind the curtain. So I would go
Oz.
to I would go to my senior staff, so campaign manager, finance director, all that, and I'd say, "Hey, I'm coming into the office, but I don't want any of you to acknowledge me as the general consultant, as your boss. I want you to just treat me like everyone else. I'm going to go sit at a desk and I'll go work with the folks who are down there as field directors and policy directors. And I'll spend a week here working with them, hearing what they have to say, hearing what they think. And that gives me two things. One, it gives me a barometer on where we are as a team, truly. Because when you get to the top of things, people tend to tell you what they want you to know, and it's all the good stuff. They don't tell you the bad things unless they have to. And two, because it allowed me to see what they saw on a daily basis and to never forget that I also sat at that desk. I also was only getting paid $1,200 a month. I mean, I was living off of the snacks that were in the office and sleeping on the floor. Like, I've been there. And one of my personal rules has always been, not only do I not ask my team to do something, but I ask them to do something that I'm not actively doing.
That's fair. That's fair. That is fair. Again, this is the Elon Musk of Valryis that we have on the Gentleman Style podcast. No, because he did that. He slept on the floor in one of his factories, right? To incentivize and encourage his team to work harder. Because here's the CEO, doesn't have to be here, and he's here because he wants to make sure we hit our numbers. He wants to make sure that we hit certain benchmarks. He's the face of hard work right now. and we can't slack because he's not slacking. So I love it.
Well, and no one believes in your mission as much as you do. Like I love my brother. My brother loves me, but he's not as dedicated to this as I am. This is a cool idea to him. It's a cool idea to everyone that I talk to, but for me, this is what I wake up and I do. Like, this is the mission, the goal. Even the folks who work with me on this project, I'm like, they are dedicated, but you have to be 100% bought in, almost zealous about it. Like, I spend my time either with my wife, at church, or working on or working on here.
Love it. I love it. I gotta ask. We saw what happened when Elon Musk took over Twitter, now X, and literally became X. It's now the second porn hub of the world. Like I feel like, how do you handle users who intend to weaponize Valryis for other things, other things that only self-serve, right? Their needs. So the the adult entertainer wants to get on Valryis to make connections with clients who are looking for her services. And I've tried to be as politically correct as I possibly can,
yes,
and I'm struggling.
I understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering how many upstanding citizens would like to publicly acknowledge that kind of transaction was going to be taking place by accepting the connection.
That's true.
But that being said, because you'd see the connection, which could make things very, very awkward and very easy for the DOJ.
That's so true. So the connection is public.
Yeah, so you can see that. You can see that connection, and then on the back end, we do have the ability to do some restrictions, and pretty much our rules are simple. No pornography, no call to action for violence. So you can't say, "Hey, everybody, in Gang B, let's go meet up in Central Park and beat up Gang A at 6 a.m. tomorrow." Like, we're going to flag that. That's probably going to end up with a restriction and then a ban. Likewise for, I would say,
public protest?
What was that?
What about public protest, of non-violent public protest? No King's Day, something like that. Anything like that?
Absolutely not. Like, why would I restrict your free speech? It's literally the First Amendment is the right to peaceably assemble.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Jamie Fallon, who got kicked off the show because he made a joke, or a famous comedian, right? The infamous Will Smith. Well, that wasn't public speech. That was physical, but that was really physical. But look at how they got censored and banned for just saying something, or a comedian who's who's provides a service. I provide comedic relief, and I provide stand-up comedy. Book me for your next nonprofit event. And then he gets banned because he makes a joke that is politically charged. Is that a ban on the platform?
Yeah. And it's not. Your speech is not going to be a ban on our platform unless it's a call to violence, unless it's a solicitation for some sort of illegal action that causes harm to yourself or others.
Love it.
Like, as long as it's
legal. Legal, y'all. That's a key word. Cannabis, right? I have a cannabis dispensary. It's legal in my state. Is that allowed on the platform? Really?
It is.
Really? What?
It is. And I say that for a very simple reason, because it's also a platform of advocacy for a lot of people. For example, in Virginia, I actually know a gentleman who was starting an entity called Green Spectrum Collective. And his goal was to essentially create a understanding between collectives and between dispensaries to create a safe industry standard for cannabis, and then he was going to use that to help push it federally. So stuff like that, like absolutely. Now, if you're out here advocating the ability to sell your heroin, probably not going to be having a long lifespan on the platform, because there's a lot of detrimental effects that aren't really debatable with heroin. Like, we aren't having a debate about whether doing an 8-ball is good for you. Like, we know it's pretty settled that it's horrible for you.
It's a pretty bad, it's a pretty bad call. How many profiles or how many businesses can one person, one administrator or user have? Right? Because someone could be wanting to promote their individual stuff, and then they also have a business, and then they just open up their 501(c) nonprofit. How many platforms can someone have?
I mean, I guess the true answer is as many emails as they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's really good. Really, really, really good. What are your thoughts about the future of AI? Right, that's a buzzword, and cryptocurrency. Do you the blockchain? Do you see any future integrations down the road as a founder of this for Valyris down the road coming? Integrations between maybe blockchain, exchange of can I pay someone on Valyris for a service that they provide, or that has to be off script or off the website?
So currently, in what we're calling phase 1, that's all done off-site. But we do have, and we've had these plans since we've come up with this, to integrate payments in crypto. So you're tracking exactly where we're planning on going with this, is to be able to not only have that connection and that community. So say you're that nonprofit who has the grant writer, who has the grant writer, who has a legal team, who has a digital strategist, digital marketing team. You could actually pay them through the app in either fiat or crypto. That's
Absolutely.
where we want to go with it.
It's happening, y'all. It's really happening. I was at my bank the other day, and there's a notice that my bank is putting out, these little flyers, and all they say in big bold letters in red is, "Hey, the United States is no longer creating brand new pennies. They're not making any more pennies. So what's currently in circulation is that's it. They're not making any more brand new pennies to circulate throughout the economy." And so as pennies wear out, as they deteriorate, as they fall in someone's trash can, that's it. And slowly it'll become harder and harder and harder for our own banking institutions to have tangible current. I see the trend now. I didn't think it was real until I saw that flyer, and this was just 2 days ago.
Yeah. So I'm going to let you and your audience in on a little secret about phase 3. So phase 2 is integrating crypto payments and payment processing in the platform. So now your entire network can be handled in the platform. You don't even have to go outside of it. Well, phase 3 for us is that I've already been talking with my team. I've been talking with my CTO, and we want to build, and we're looking at, it's going to sound insane, Marcus, I'll admit. But whenever you talk about big ideas, you sound crazy or you sound like a jerk. But here's what it is we're looking at banks that are struggling to keep their doors open, and in phase 3, acquiring them and creating a hybrid crypto fiat on off ramp bank, a physical place where somebody could come and exchange their Bitcoin, their Ethereum, for USD, for Swiss francs, for euros in real time.
For the audience member who's uninitiated, explain how that can help them for the uninitiated.
Absolutely. So it comes out of that spirit of the underdog and the spirit of fighting back, you see that people can be debanked. They can be removed from traditional systems. Um, that's why cryptocurrency has become such a powerful thing. The way I look at it is that I look at a company, say, or a country like Myanmar. Myanmar is debanking and deplatforming opponents of the military junta that's in charge there. Those people have assets. They have things of value, but they don't have stores of value because they put all their money into traditional banking. So something like what we would do is we would be able to take a political dissident who has been stripped of all of their assets in the bank, but say maybe they still own some properties, and they could come to our crypto bank and exchange a loan on physical property for cryptocurrency that they can then convert into any currency that they need in the world. So instead of being debanked, it's now flexible for them. We've created a flexible economy where just because something's bad in Argentina doesn't mean that the Argentine peso is less for you.
That's true.
You can go exchange it for the franc,
and not lose any value in the process of doing that. That's huge. That is extremely huge. I'm excited now. I'm so glad. Mr. McClure said yes. This is needed. No, y'all, this is needed. We really need this. This is going to really change the paradigm of connection. I'm not a big connector. I think COVID woke a lot of people up and showed a lot of people, hey, the connection thing, hey, no touching hand, no sneezing, don't touch me. But to grow in any ecosphere, you need to market, you need to advertise. And so you are spot on and right where you need to be. Connection, we need connection now more than ever. And like you said, that was surprising to me when I first discovered it, when I first entered banking. I thought everybody got a checking account. I thought everybody could walk into a bank and get a savings account. I had no clue that there are individuals running around with no bank account.
Yeah, so and no access to one.
Right. Based off of where they live, just a number of different things. Wi-Fi, internet, no access to technology, no access to, even if they have access to you have the online bank, but there's no way for them to use it locally where they live. Right. I could swipe my debit card all day, but if there's no bank for me to get my cash from, that limits me, that restricts me.
Absolutely. And then if I have, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I can't exactly walk around with an Ethereum debit card.
Right. You can walk around with gold bullion though.
Yeah, you can walk around with gold bullion, and that's I'm a big proponent of having some physical stores of value.
I love it. I knew it. I knew it. Sir, what kind of this is funny. What kind of firearms do you own?
I will tell you of 3 that I own.
Okay, fair enough.
I have an undisclosed amount, but I'll tell you about 3.
He's the guy from Tremors. Tremors Part 2. If y'all remember Tremors, the husband and wife who had the basement. That's dope.
So I do have a friend who his place is pretty stocked up. He's got an entire room devoted to guns, whiskey, and cigars. He calls it the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
That's all you need.
Yeah, but I've got a Beowulf 50 cal. I bought that a few years back because I saw an episode of one of those like Deadliest Weapons or something like that, and it just looked awesome. Like it looked really freaking cool. It looked really freaking cool, and I was like, one day I'm gonna get this gun. And then once I had the ability to get it, I went to the Alexander Arms website, picked it out, specialized it, got it all customized how I wanted it, and it showed up at my door 2 months later. So Beowulf.
You said Beowulf.
A
Beowulf 50 cal.
Beowulf 50 cal.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm,
and then he's got a he's got another firearm that they call Grendel was the other one that I owned. So English literature with Beowulf and Grendel. Yeah, it's good stuff. And then I have a catamount shotgun, and I will tell you one more, and it's just because it's an old family gun. It's one of my grandfather's old rifles. I can't even tell you what it is because it's probably from like 1940.
Some musket.
Yeah, it's a musket, man. Like, yeah,
absolutely. This is dope. Ooh, that's sexy. That's pretty sexy. You got the hand crank and the arm, the handle, everything on the shotgun. That is a good time. That is a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time.
What's one question you wish someone would ask you but never has?
Ooh, that's tough. I would, off the top of my head, I'd say that I would probably ask them why they've never asked me how I think where I grew up influenced me.
So now my next question is
the how I grew up.
Now that's my question. That's my next question to you.
I figured that was the lead up. That was going to be the next question. I think it was the sense of community. It was the sense of even though we're not all related, there were still about 4,000 of us in town. We looked after each other. We cared about each other, and we cared enough about each other to be there when things got bad, regardless of anybody's race, regardless of anybody's socioeconomics. I joke that my town really had a lot to live up to because our motto is the town with love in the middle, because our town is Clover. So, and I think we did a good job of living up to that. And I think that that's what really kind of gave me the passion and the pride of helping the underdog and of being the underdog and never really feeling alone throughout the process and wanting to replicate that for other people, whether I was in Washington, D.C. or Atlanta, or whether I was in, San Francisco. I just really wanted to connect and help people how I could.
And it definitely stuck. Community. Yeah. That's what Valyris is. If you all heard nothing else, that's what Valyris is all about. Community, connection. This is epic. Unfortunately, we have to let this incredible man go. Mr. McClure, how can people find you? How can people connect with you? How can people learn more and get on board the Valyris train?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to get in touch with me personally is you can find me on Facebook under my name, Dwayne McClure. Instagram, it's a little bit trickier. I went old school with an old nerdy reference. It's tertium quids, which literally just means the third way in Latin. So
cryptic for when he's hiding from the government.
The third way, tertium quids. And for Valyris, it's simple. We're just https //Valyris.com. You can check us out there. We're super excited about getting up and running and launching in the new year. I will admit that I did not expect, even in my wildest dreams, for us to be doing this at this point. I thought that this was going to be something that we would have to wait until 2030, 2020, 2028 when I had my yacht already to be able to do something like this. But it's great. It's great. It's been a journey. I love meeting new people. So if you can find me on the social medias, feel free to reach out. Don't be a stranger.
Love it. Love it. Connect. Get on board. Valyris.com. Get on board. The train has left the station. Well, not yet. It's about to. It's about to take off in January. But you can hop on board. You can be on the first. And you can be one of the first to get on this platform and change the world for the better. Sir, Mr. McClure, I want to say this to you publicly, sir. Never quit. Don't ever give up. We need you. We need what you're doing. You are absolutely necessary. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And you all, my audience, thank you all for tuning in. I hope this message was inspirational. I hope this was encouraging and uplifting for you to take action, to take charge, and to become a part of the community, because that's the only way we can make a difference. That's the only way you, me, we get out of this thing alive, is community. And Valyris is leading the way. Couldn't make it any easier for us. And so here we are, taking off into the next century to see what comes. This is the flying car. If you were mad about Facebook, you missed the opportunity with Tesla, you missed the opportunity with Berkshire Hathaway. Here is your chance. Here it is, right in your face, to be a part of something big. So, like we end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and always, always take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, and the super fragilistic espialidocious Mr. Dwayne McClure, signing off. Love you guys. Bye.